Until I came along, pretty much the used apparatus, which is a real huge segment of the market, because 80%, this is a number that blows people away, 80% of the fire departments in the United States will never have the money to buy a new piece of apparatus.
I believe it.
Yeah.
80%.
Yep. And especially now, I don't
pumper's
mean
$1 million.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
20%
between the
is
price
right
right now, the price of a rig, how long it takes to get a rig
3
from
years.
yeah. So, I mean, you look at people across the board, there are fire chiefs out there that are now buying used apparatus, having them refurbished and putting them in service because that makes more sense and it's quicker and cheaper than it is to actually buy a new
Yeah,
apparatus.
we talked about last episode too, like even the newer trucks that are coming out, all sorts of fucking problems.
We were talking about that this afternoon about computers.
And with the computer systems, and then even like the ambulances, people are just getting them rechassied.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going out and buying like a whole new thing. So I assume, within the past couple of years, I'm sure your business probably popped off a little bit.
What percent of the showroom sales do you think are here?
Yeah, right. There's got to be
On Long Island?
Yeah. Phil
Well,
said
there's,
the other
there's,
20%.
there is the fire truck, the custom fire apparatus, and there's the Long Island custom fire apparatus. There's like
Yeah,
two
there's probably a
brands. They hear
difference.
Long Island and they go, price just went up.
Yeah, right.
But when you talk to Glenn, I mean, he's turning out, how many apparatus do we
do about 100 a year.
About 100 a year
100
that
a
he's
year?
turning over, which is a
Holy
lot.
shit.
That's a lot of rigs.
That's a lot of
It's like
rigs.
2 a week.
Is there a particular type of truck that you see that's over the years, like we talk about ebbs and flows of the fire service all the time. Are there ebbs and flows within apparatus, whether it's specialty equipment, ladder trucks, quints?
Yeah, it goes all the full gamut. If you want to give me 2 minutes, I'll give you
Yeah.
2 pieces of advice.
Absolutely.
Don't ever buy a pumper with less than a 750-gallon booster tank, because 90% of the used apparatus go to areas that are rural. So they're carrying, we are blessed on Long Island because aside from the Far East End and a couple of places on the North Shore, there's hydrants everywhere. Not quite, 150 or 200 feet in New York City, but still 500 feet, 400 feet. When you go where I sell the fire app rigs, 90% of them go to places that don't have fire hydrants. So you pulling up with 500-gallon tank, which is the average Long Island pumper, doesn't do them any good. So the resale value is higher if you buy a bigger tank. 750, 1,000. I can see where in suburban areas they don't want 1,000. As a fire chief, 1,000 gallons of water gives you about 6 minutes at 150 gallons a minute. That's a lot of time, and particularly when you're looking. I'm going to turn the hat and go back to command chief. That's a lot of time for your first due engine to put some fire out.
For sure.
So that's a big thing. But I have people tell me all the time, we just are not buying anything less than a 750 tank.
I remember when I joined, we had 2 engines that were 500-gallon tanks, and the whole thing was like, you got to get this pumper dressed in 2 minutes, because that's the hydrant's got to be dressed in 2 minutes, because that's about the amount of time you have till 500 gallons is gone. And they since replaced those pumpers with 750-gallon tanks.
Look at what we're talking about in the whole fire service, in every firehouse in the United States: recruitment and retention. We have less people. We were talking about this earlier at lunch. You know what? A fire that was a Bedford fire in Massapequa had 2 stations. Now there's 5 or 6 department mutual aid just to assemble 25 people, 18, 20, 25 people. So if your first due engine's pulling up and has only 2 minutes to get them additional water, you're short a guy. You want to leave a guy at the hydrant? So, there's just a whole thing, it works in. And then when you talk about these rural places, I sell engines weekly to places that don't have a fire hydrant in town.
Right.
So that's a big thing. The other thing, which please don't throw anything at me, ladder trucks without pumps are very hard to resell.
Yep.
So I get it. Like I said, I came from Long Island. I do a lot, with FDNY and other big cities, and I get it. And I can see where trucks really don't need to have pumps. But if you want to resell that engine, it sells much quicker if it has a pump on it. And ladders without waterways, also, if you're going to buy a straight truck, we're not on Long Island. We're not FDNY in the suburbs of Philly and suburbs of Washington, Boston, wherever. We're not FDNY. We're not Philly. We're not Boston. So a ladder truck, you know, where in the FDNY system, where, you know, you basically have tower ladders for water application, and very rare. I mean, it's a couple times a year, if that, in the city, they use ladder pipes.
Yeah.
So ladders
Rare.
without waterways, when you go to someplace in Tennessee or Kentucky or Indiana and say, well, I got a 10-year-old or 15-year-old ladder truck, doesn't have a pump. Oh, we can live without a pump, but we can put water through it, right? No, it doesn't have a waterway either. Click. So, you know, the one thing, and the last thing I'm going to talk about Apparatus, and I have a couple departments on Long Island who've gone to this program, is get rid of them quicker. If you get rid of your apparatus, your rigs, when they're 10 years old, you can get 50%
lot
of what
more.
you paid for them
Absolutely.
when they were new. If you keep them till they're 20, 25, 30 years old, you get a lot less money for them. So in the interim, their maintenance costs go up, the amount of money you get for the rig goes down, and the cost of the new apparatus is going up 8-10% a year. So if you get rid of it when it's 10 years old, you get $300,000 for it, and the new one costs $1 million. If you keep it for 10 more years, you get $20,000, and the new one now costs $1.3 million. So instead of a spread of $300,000 or $400,000 for a new one, or $500,000, you now have over $1 million spread when you keep the rigs till they're 25 or 30 years old.
Interesting.
And
see-
the interim, you've paid maintenance. You're going to rebuild the pump. You're going to rebuild the engine. You're going to rebuild the transmission. You're going to have to put new axles or tires on. I mean, all the stuff you got to do.
Right.
Sounds like I can go to my firehouse and say it's time to get a new ladder.
Well, you see
it's
some
the same
departments where they
results in years.
replace their whole fleet, and people are like, oh, I can't believe they're spending that money, or why are they doing this, or like the lease purchase programs that are out there. And we've done that now, where we lease it and get a reduced cost because they're buying it outright, and then you pay it off quicker.
Right.
And now you own it. So, you know, but turning apparatus over, and then also like lease to purchase and stuff like that, it can help you and save you money in the long run, which sounds crazy, but it does.
It actually saves
Yeah,
you
but
money.
I
It
feel like
saves a
half
lot.
the districts out here, it's nope, brand new, shiny. We don't care how much it costs.
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, you could still buy brand new shiny and save yourselves money. Like, you know, when we bought the lease purchase, we bought 4 apparatus together, and because it's an automatic buyout, it reduced the cost. We saved money on the initial purchase by a lot of money right off the bat. And then, you know, we got into a 5-year lease but paid it off in 3. So now you're saving even more. So when you can start actually looking at numbers, and Glenn explained it very well, of getting rid of the apparatus a little sooner. I know it sounds crazy. You're like, that thing's perfect. We don't need to get rid of it. But in the long run, you're actually saving money.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
an asset. It depreciates
Correct.
every year.